I want it to happen in the near future.
And nothing like getting cursed by mail. So you've never been cursed before. You wanna try to get the real curse game going. Get cursed by mail.
No,
You'll be all right.
My mom told me. I taught her. She said, "Molly, it's not cursing. It's profanity." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Is that what it is?" She's like, "We have to measure the amount of profanity we use."
So look, this shirt here. So this shirt, I know the audience can see it. This Mickey Mouse shirt, right? So I got this shirt because.
That's his phone, so come in here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Because he calling us. He wondering where we at. We waiting on you, Khary.
Go ahead, Khary.
Hey, brother, I think we're here. CRB?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's here. He's arriving. Oh my God, he's in the parking lot. What should we do now? No, give us some water.
I don't think so. But we on the air live right now.
No, he about to come in here. Okay. Next to you.
Why next to me?
Sweetheart, because that's the seating arrangement. And then we need to talk about.
Okay, so that went a little left real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get him off. So sorry, folks. Had a little brief interruption there.
So before Khary comes in here, we begin to interview him. I just want to announce and reiterate my Life and Wealth brunch gathering coming up Saturday, November 6th at the Brush Street Cocktails and Grill.
All right.
We could put it in the comments, but the event is on Eventbrite. All you have to do is put in Life and Wealth gathering or brunch, and it will come up. And I want you guys to support. I want you to come out and network your business, talk about your business. I want you to be able to come and gain strategies for retirement plans for your businesses and your company.
Great. So if you're interested in getting your wealth together,
And accumulation,
absolutely. Getting
and
yourself
asset
together.
protection.
There you go. You want to reach out to me, or you want to take that event?
Come through.
And come through and get everything together.
We'll post the event information.
Absolutely. So the man is here. The man of the hour is here with us.
Yay!
So we want to
And
make
his
sure we
little
get his
man.
headphones and check your little man. How you doing, sir? So we want to get.
Oh.
So which mic is it? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Larry Turner.
So I might get my times wrong, brother. I'm sorry.
Mel, push that microphone down.
Unless you got to switch seats.
Sorry, y'all. Trying to get this figured out here.
So usually we're in the other room. So
Okay.
we switching the script today. We're
Okay.
in here. So great.
So can I just fall on the sword, brother? Because for some reason I had 5:15 arrival and a 5:30 start on my thing, and
It's okay.
I pulled up thinking I'm on time. You
You're
know?
we laid back. This is what we do. We're
Okay.
good.
All right.
It's perfect.
I like to honor my appointments.
Absolutely. So today we have Mr. Khary K. Turner he's the executive director of the Coleman Young Foundation. It helps give many scholarship opportunities to the students of the city of Detroit. So, Mr. Turner, welcome to the Real Nonsense, sir.
Thank you, Doc.
Good.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers.
Thank you, sir. So let's
Good to be
get
in your presence again.
let's get to it. So, Mel,
Yeah.
Mr. Turner here. Let me give you a little background, right?
Okay.
So, in high school, I had some problems paying for school, whatever. So, I was able to get an opportunity to be a member of the Coleman Young Foundation, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me as a young person. I can remember coming home at Christmas time, and they would give us a little allowance at Christmas time, pay our tuition, and I remember actually meeting the late great Coleman A. Young in his office when I graduated. Fast forward 30 plus years, I'm at Denby and I'm teaching, and I said, well, let me reach out to them and see if they'll come over and talk to the kids at Denby, because I was a college transition advisor. And lo and behold, I spoke to Mr. Turner, and he was there, Jimmy on the spot.
Really?
Oh yeah, he came over, dropped a lot of wisdom with those kids. It was a beautiful thing. And then you still had a conversation with Miss Manningham, the principal, after that, right? Yeah. So that's how it worked out. That's how it worked out. So the foundation is a beautiful thing.
Wow, I read about that. It started in 1982.
Indeed.
And so, Khary, let me ask you, so did you also know Mr. Coleman Young, former Mayor Coleman Young?
I never met the mayor.
Never met him, okay.
And it's interesting because the way the foundation started essentially makes the mayor my employer. What never really got publicized was the fact that the mayor had about $3 million in remaining wealth around 1982. So this was 14 years, well, almost 10 years before he left office. And he decided then that he didn't want to take anything with him. Wow. This was campaign treasury money, and at the time it was legal to retire on that money, and most politicians did. It was their right to do so.
Wow.
He decided to give most of it away, and he gave about a third of it or so to Wayne State University to establish the Coleman A. Young Endowed Chair, which it is still in existence today.
Okay.
It's a teaching position, and then he took the lion's share of what was left and started the Coleman A. Young Foundation. He created a small endowment, and that endowment still exists to this day and sustains the foundation. And then when that man left office, he moved into a one-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
And he passed away 4 years later.
Wow.
So when you got a chance to meet him, Dr. Rogers, he at that time, he had that plan in place. He already planned and planned on paper to take almost nothing with him. That's the most amazing story to me because here we are 29 years later, you know, and well, 39 years later, and that man is my employer. He's the reason I'm able to do what I do as executive director, and we've been able to help more than 500 kids become adults by accessing getting to college and through college.
Yeah.
And Dr. Rogers, you know, you live that life. You know, you walk that path, and Coleman Young did that.
Absolutely.
This is so awesome. I can tell you that the first time I heard about the Coleman A. Young Foundation is when we knew that you were coming on. So I never even heard of it before. And I thought that this is just amazing because I've heard of the Skillman Foundation. I want to ask you about the Skillman legacy. Is that connected to?
It is.
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Skillman has partnered with us. I didn't introduce my son Max.
Hey, Max.
along the
Is
way.
that short for Maximilian?
No, just Max.
Oh, just Max.
Just Max. That's my legacy right
Slay.
there. So, yeah, he's an amazing guy. Say thank you.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Max?
Probably.
You want to speak into the microphone? Come on. What do you want to be when you grow up? You got to get close to it.
You want to be the president?
Probably I just want to be like him.
Oh.
Wow. All right.
That's,
Wow.
That's the greatest compliment ever right there.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Wow.
it.
That's my man.
That's amazing.
My son said that once, and then he turned into a rapper.
I did that too.
He became a rapper, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can't remember the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were asking me
In terms, the relation for the
with Skillman Foundation.
Yeah.
Skillman, we do have a relationship with the Skillman Foundation. And Skillman Foundation, during their 50th anniversary year, this was back in 2011, they decided to create a scholarship program of their own. And they asked Coleman A. Young Foundation, because of our track record of success, to manage that program.
Okay.
So they partnered with us, funded the foundation, and sent 86 students of their own through college. They started off with a group of 50 to commemorate that 50th anniversary. And then for the next 3 or 4 years, we added on 10 more students every year. And the Coleman A. Young Foundation Scholarship, as you know, is valued at $22,000.
Yeah.
And it's a substantial award.
Over 4 years.
Over 4 years. So it spreads out.
Okay.
And Skillman, they created a $10,000 scholarship, which is also substantial, and trusted us to mentor and guide these young people, just the same way we do with the Coleman A. Young Foundation Scholars Group.
That's awesome. And then the Real Skills 2.0. This is for grades 6 through 11. Tell me about that, because I might have interest in that for her.
So, you know, Real Skills was actually, I can't take credit for Real Skills.
Okay.
Real Skills was started by the college students who went through the same journey that you did. Doc, they came back to us in 1998 and gave us some constructive criticism. They said, look, the college scholarship is fantastic, but you got to touch these young people earlier.
Yeah.
So we started a youth development program, and originally we called it the PSRP. It was the Post-Secondary Readiness Program. We changed the name because when we say it into a microphone, all those P's pop.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But what we do is just help young people between the ages of 11 and 17 just get ready for life after high school.
Yeah.
We recognize that, college is fantastic. Everybody's not going, but everybody has a right to the same quality of life, whether you go to college or whether you go to the workforce. So we started that program and started exposing young people to workforce development opportunities and early college tours to get them thinking about it as early as the 6th grade, sometimes the 5th grade. We bring people before them. Doc, I got to get you before them actually, but we bring folks from the community before them to talk about everything from issues that are affecting their lives. They sometimes inform us. Back in 2013, after the brother Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. No, a year before he was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. Some of our boys came to us in Real Skills and said, we're having an issue communicating with police officers when they pull us over. So we said, well, let's have a conversation starting from the top down. And we called then Chief Craig's office, and Chief Craig, before he became the gubernatorial candidate, he came out and he sat and spent a couple hours just talking with our students. And then after him, Commander Bettis came over, and then my brother came over, who's also a police officer, and had conversations with these young people just to give them ideas on how to humanize the individuals behind these badges, and to be able to communicate in constructive ways. And then a year later, Ferguson happened, and we sat back and said, wow, this is what happens when you listen to young people and give them a chance to inform you as well. So those are the kind of things we do.
Absolutely. So how if any, did the pandemic affect what you guys were doing down at the Coleman Young College in terms of recruiting students and stuff like that?
It hurt. But it hurt everybody, right? It's like, and in a weird way, Chris, we just kind of worked through it knowing that we were not hurting in a way that other nonprofits weren't hurting. Nobody knew where to go to raise money in 2020. Nobody knew exactly how to stay in touch with their cohort. So we just had to be really rogue about it, You got to ride a bike to a house, ride a bike to a house. If you gotta do things on Zoom, do things on Zoom. But, we worked through it, and we did it knowing that when we were able to finally come back together, we would have to do it differently. We would have to do it safely. So we're accustomed now to walking into rooms and making sure that we're not only protected ourselves, but prepared to look out for those close to us. We also had to come back prepared to deal with a brand new set of issues. You're in DPS, brother, so you know that the issues that many of our families and villages have brought back to the classroom are either brand new or exacerbated, by the pandemic, made worse. We had to just be really creative. So we spent that first part of 2020 online, doing things virtually,
like everybody,
sending food to homes when need be, because typically we would feed our kids hot meals every Saturday. When you come to Real Skills, you know that you're leaving with spaghetti and salad in your belly, and
Right,
different kinds of salad. We prided ourselves on providing healthy and nutritious meals, and we couldn't do that. So we found a brother who packaged lunches and delivered them to homes.
That's beautiful.
And we would take orders midweek, send them to the house, and the kids had food.
That's beautiful.
So how if a student, I guess, in any of these programs, the scholars, at what point should they be looking to kind of present an application or prepare for it? I guess, would that be like the 8th grade? Would it be the 9th grade?
So, Doc, I'm so glad you asked that question, because you just opened up a can of flowers.
Okay.
The flowers come in cans?
No. The ones I buy these.
So, I am a strong believer, being a man who runs a scholarship organization, I'm a strong believer that if you are paying out of pocket for college is by nature a racket.
Oh, wow.
You're not supposed to pay.
Okay.
And
I love that.
You're not supposed to pay for college.
Okay.
You're supposed to prepare so that your education can pay you while you're getting it.
Absolutely.
So
I love that.
So to answer your question, I think to apply for the Coleman Young Scholarship, you have to be a high school senior. But by the time you're a high school junior, you should know every single school that you can see yourself attending and be ready to apply. You should have your scholarships lined up. That means by 10th grade, you've researched them. By 9th grade,
The ones that you're going to apply for. Gotcha.
you've researched the scholarship you're going to apply
in the
for.
10th grade.
By 9th grade, that's the time, ideally, that we should be trying to do college tours and calls and virtual meet and greets, because we can do that now. So let's keep going back. Let's get younger. By 8th, 7th, 6th grade, I think families, particularly African American families and Detroit families, should be looking into 529 plans, which are education funds, education trusts, and education savings plans, things that allow you to invest $10 a month, $15, $20, $25, $50 a month, whatever you can afford, into a plan that is governed by the market. It acts just like a 401k, and over the course of that time period, your monthly contribution compounds and grows, and by the time you're a senior, you may not need a scholarship to go to every school. That's a game that we're late to.
Yeah, because I hear about not to cut you off, but 529 plans, and by me being a retirement specialist, I tend to gear my clients more to high cash value asset protection or life insurance, because you can use the life insurance cash value asset in there to fund things like that. And so the 529, though, I do agree it is a nice plan to have, but I tend to push them more toward the index universal life insurance, because it builds up that cash value in there. So that's something that I am trying to educate our people about, and really getting them set up for their children, and really using that as a tool to pay for college or your first house or your first investment, or maybe start your own business. Because before you came in here, we were talking about the debt that comes with having to obtain an education. And sometimes kids just say, hey, that's not for me. I don't want to go to college to get a bill, and then I graduate with a degree, and then now I can't even get a job. I'd rather go get a trade or, start my own company. And I think that I'm kind of for that. And I forget, is that Dr. Youssef, or what's that man's name? Anyway, I forget his name. I'm going to think about it later. But he talked about how back in the day, how in high school, like before 1970, that they would teach students how to do trades so that they could go work in a factory. They could come out of high school and start working. And a lot of our ancestors built a quality life just working plant jobs and working. And so it became the newer generations that they wanted to send to school and get educated and kind of get them out of, those industrial jobs and things like that. But they came out with debt. And so I like what Khary is saying, is that you shouldn't have to pay for college. You should already have everything set up to where they're looking for you and they want to fund you to be educated.
And I like what you said about IULs, because that's how we change our thinking. And we should think about post-secondary education the way we think about investment. We think about investment in terms of making our money work for us. The dollar is our employee. My education is my employee. It should work for me. So no, I shouldn't come out of debt. I mean, I shouldn't come out of college with debt. I should come out of, the borrower is still slave to the lender. So I should come out of college having saved, as opposed to
absolutely.
Now, and if you're doing some kind of an IUL or an education savings plan, what is that doing to your household's mentality around investing? Once mom and dad become empty nesters, that activity is more likely to just shift to retirement planning. Wealth building, wealth management. And if we can get, imagine the needle that we move, if we can get half the families in the city of Detroit to think and behave that way. That would be
a phenomenon. That would change our communities, and I think that these conversations need to be had. And it's so funny because at the event that I'm having, I want to invite you, Khary. I'm having
that H is silent too. It loves being included.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's just Khary.
Khary.
Yeah.
You got me calling him Khary.
Well, the H is, said it's silent.
It's there. It's
yeah,
visible.
it's there.
It's
Right.
visible.
I only
Yeah.
repronounce what I
It
heard.
doesn't talk.
Okay, Khary.
Look.
Khary, there you go.
Khary.
There you go.
People with Middle Eastern backgrounds tell me I call my son by the wrong name all the time. My son's name is Khalil,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
and they say I pronounce it wrong all the time.
How should you pronounce it?
Khalil.
Khalil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. When I'm with some of my Arab and Caribbean brothers and sisters, they love to tease me and say Khary.
Hobby. Yeah, exactly.
I get
That sounds like a whole
I
lot
get
of spit come behind it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Yeah.
I'm having on Saturday, November 6th, a life and wealth brunch gathering.
My
And
birthday.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that would be awesome because it's a brunch of mimosas, and when I wanted to create an environment that is a place that we could talk about wealth building and asset protection and wealth management that is not so boring and
Sure.
blurred.
Sure.
Of course, those that are there networking and meeting other like-minded individuals to kind of help us propel and maybe get some tips about how to increase our business. But also, I'm going to have it set up to where, hey, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to start your own 401k for your company, or if you're a minister and you want to learn about particular retirement plans just for clergy, I can introduce that to you. If you are a person and you don't have anything started and you want to start something, you need to figure out the strategy in which you should go. I'm going to be able to people that engage me, we can talk about it and also eat and have mimosas.
All right.
Just, have a good time and just create an atmosphere to where we can really start discussing these things in our community and really looking at, really, because I was just listening to an audiobook on the way here about life insurance, and black people don't like talking about life insurance for some reason. Some of them don't. They like, oh, you want to kill me, or you want to get all my money, and it's like, it's not about that. It's really about us putting things in place to where we can secure our lives. Now, a lot of the new policies now include living benefits.
Sure.
So they pay you while you're alive. So this is really
Yes.
giving you that security you need for today.
That's why you like IULs.
That's why I like IULs.
Yeah.
And so, so anybody that I can get, young, old, if they're looking, hey, this is what I want to do, let's look at this, because this is going to give you the best outcome overall.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree with you, Khary. That's great.
So here's the heavy question for me, right? So, a lot of kids were out of school last year and failed a lot of classes, right? So they're making them up. So in the adjustment of that, I mean, how's the foundation looking at that, adjusting to that? Because, some kids, they just didn't go.
They fell off.
Yes.
Yeah, they fell off.
That was
They
a
fell
national
off.
trend.
Yeah.
I believe there was a 38%. I think Time Magazine reported that there was a 38% decline
Wow.
in college enrollment everywhere in the United States of America. We saw it. The way it looks for us when I go beyond the percentages was just the number of scholarship applications we received
Okay.
in the last school year. We got 21.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, you know how popular that scholarship
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
South
Yes.
Carolina.
yes.
We normally receive anywhere from 75 to 100 applications. It's an involved application. You have to write the essay and so on, but still, we market it and we look forward to a hefty.
What's typically
influx.
the amount that you would get non-COVID applications?
75 to 100.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great.
So there was, and we knew it was coming because we had been communicating with schools who have been making us aware of the climate, and for so many young people, they were either in school just to find a stable place to be, place to eat,
Wow.
a place to exercise their mental health.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and for so many was just not a year to learn. And,
Wow.
and I think we're going to feel the effects of that year for many years to come, unfortunately.
Wow.
The mental health conversations that we're going to have are going to grow more profound before they lighten up. But here we are.
Yeah.
Here we
Absolutely.
are. And what we're doing now is sending the message that your education is still important.
Yeah.
Every generation has a benchmark issue or era that has checked them and kind of forced them to grow up fast.
Yeah.
From the civil rights movement to the crack epidemic,
Right.
And now this generation, unfortunately, history might remember this generation as the COVID impacted generation. I'm not going to call them the COVID generation.
Yeah, but a COVID
impacted from an education standpoint.
Yeah. Because I think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but the beauty of that is that you're surviving it.
Yeah.
You've survived it. And we all know, look how beautiful we all are sitting at this table.
Yeah.
Anything we survive, we tend to come through and figure out a way to shine.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
the other side of it. So let's get to figuring it out, because I don't like to wallow too long.
Yeah, I like what you said. I went to the website today, and there was like a YouTube video of you talking, and you made a point about the same skills that it takes you to survive in the hood every day, or it are the same skills that can run a Fortune 500 company.
Absolutely.
And so I love the light that's shining down on our youth that's saying, hey, they may be challenged, they have different things that are impacting them. Could it be, socioeconomic background, they don't have the resources. They might come from a one-parent household, but they are rich in intelligence, rich in creativity.
Sure.
And so we need to create an environment to nourish that and help push them and propel them into upward education. I want to go back to this preparing.
Yes.
Because that's important, because you took me all the way back to 6th and 7th and 8th grade.
Yes.
And so, because that time goes by really, really fast.
It does.
I mean, middle school, and then they're here at 8th grade, and they're graduating, going to 9th grade. And we're thinking about what high school should they go to. And you're saying we should be thinking about what college they're going to go to.
And that challenges families, because our families are often impacted by a lot of different social issues that distract us from that conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to think about college if you're thinking about what's going to be on the dinner table.
Absolutely.
True.
You don't know what the lights are going to be on.
Right.
I don't want to just talk over that.
Yeah.
That's a hard reality. But it's still the conversation that we need to have. So the question is, how do we get to that conversation?
Yeah.
What else do we need to do in terms of providing wraparound services to our families? I'm so glad you're doing the work you're doing now with DPS, and more of that is needed, because it's not that our families don't want to have that conversation, but it's hard to think about, it's hard to plan for the future when you're in survival mode.
Absolutely.
And too many of us are. So I might have jumped ahead of the actual question, but what we need to do is get our families to that conversation and to develop a sense of value around the idea of planning.
Would you say that's just priority at that point? Because life, like I tell people, even with retirement savings, they say, well, I can't afford to put more into, and it's like, well, but you prioritize other things. So if you prioritize that, then you can make that happen. Yeah. Would you agree that just making that a priority would change it, even though we're having to survive, even though we're trying to figure things out, we're putting that at the top of our list to say, hey, we need to make sure that we're planning for this, or that we're preparing for this, because this is a part of our success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll use my family as an example. We have these we make it a point in our household to include Max in on family financial conversations.
Wow.
And Max is 7. We established that, but back in May for Mother's Day, he said he wanted to start a business, and we'd already been talking to him about how to manage money, and he understood. We used the apple as an example of how to grow money. That's what we talked about. So if you have an apple and you take a seed from that apple and plant it and grow more apples, and you sell those apples, and then this is how you can now grow money. Or if you slice an apple and divvy out the slices and place a value on them, you end up with more than you actually paid for that apple. Yeah. So Max said he wanted to start a business, and we did. He started a cookie business for Mother's Day. I'm putting all this business
That's
out there.
awesome.
He started a cookie business for Mother's Day, and long story short, this young man recorded a video, we posted it on social media, and we sent it to our network, our whole network, the school network, and then we set up a storefront on our porch.
That's awesome.
On Friday and Saturday before Mother's Day, folks came by. We made it safe. It was outside. They came by. We had their stuff prepackaged. My wife's a designer, so she broke out the raffia, the pretty bag. We stayed up all night packaging cookies. Yeah. And people pre-ordered and picked up Mother's Day cookies. This guy right here grossed almost a G.
Wow.
On a goal of, I'm not going to.
How much are the cookies?
Do you remember how much the cookies were? Talking to the mic. Talking to the mic.
About like $7.
Oh, nice. So who made the cookies?
We bought them.
So we purchased inventory.
Amen. You say we purchased
We
inventory.
purchased inventory and we upsold them.
Amen.
Absolutely.
But here's the beautiful thing. Max took his profits and put them in 3 jars. One is a grow jar.
Okay.
Because the philosophy of the grow jar is that you never touch this. This is the money you grow. You invest it, you
Absolutely.
put it away, you put this
Forget
money
about
to
it.
work for you. One is a give jar, because God gives to the giver and takes from the taker.
Amen.
The other one is a spend jar, or a live jar. We call it a live jar. That's where you go and buy your Godzilla
I
and
love
your King
that.
Kong and da-da-da-da. And what it did is turn on a light in Max, and now he's talking about the next business he wants to start. And now he's starting to understand that there's a purpose to this educational pursuit. It's not to go and get a job.
Right.
It's to put myself in the position to make ideas reality for this world.
To be innovative.
Steve Jobs never talked about going to work for somebody.
That's right.
You know, he talked about bringing the ideas to the fore, making them real,
Yeah.
and putting a dent in the universe.
Yeah.
Why can't he do that?
Absolutely. And since we're talking about youth entrepreneurship, I want to highlight Melody, because she made princess lips.
What?
She went and ordered her vitamin E, her cocoa butter, and shea butter, and mixed lip gloss and put them in tube and went on TikTok. And so, you know, and I have to help her push that. But this is like very, very
Go ahead,
just
Melody.
something dynamic that we have to do with our
Yes.
children, you know,
Yes.
and get them to say, hey, yeah, you're going to school. But as parents, we have to encourage them to say, hey, outside of school, I'm going to help you cultivate whatever your gift is. And so
Yes.
we have to take on, you know, educating our children all over again for ourselves, you know, and not just putting it on the educators in the school building, but when they're at home, having those conversations about finances, talking about business and entrepreneurship. What can we do to make our communities better? And we can start it at a very early young age. I love that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, Khary, let's talk about the application process.
Sure.
So what does it take? How do you do it? Where do you go?
Yeah.
The who, what, when's, where, how, why?
Okay. So when it's time to apply for a Coleman Foundation scholarship, you are applying if you, 1, go to a school in the city of Detroit,
Okay.
public, private, parochial, charter. 2, live in the city of Detroit.
Okay.
3, have a cumulative 2.5 GPA. Why 2.5? Because Mayor Young wanted us to find, fund, and fuel young Detroiters who have faced some level of adversity,
Okay.
the kind that might keep your 3.2 or keep your 2.5 from being a 3.2.
Right.
If you're not the man or the woman of the house at 16. You know, we understand that we have a different set of issues that we contend with in cities.
Absolutely.
You know, whether you're white or other, or black or other. That's just a Detroit thing, and that's cool. Doesn't mean you can't achieve. So if you meet those base criteria, apply. And then the scholarship itself is not an achievement-based scholarship. It's need-based. It's need-based. So that means that you will be sharing, you know, the tax information of whichever parent claims you, because we want to see the need.
Okay.
You know that we
Does
want.
that mean they get more than 22,000 over 4 years?
No. It just means that we really work hard to identify the students who actually need the help and the support the most. So that's the application process, and then from there, there's an initial evaluation round followed by a 3-round interview process. It becomes very competitive because you have to interview in front of panels. You have to do informal gatherings, and then you have to do a final interview where we actually get a chance to delve into your story and deep dive your life and really figure out, you know, who you are, why you need this. And you know, we do all this because we're not just giving you money and saying good luck.
Right.
You know, we're walking through this journey with you until you graduate from college. We say 4 to 6 years, but I think I have terminated 1 scholarship since I've been executive director, and that's since 2012.
Wow.
If we see students making the effort, you know, we're going to meet you where you are when you need us, and I want to see you graduate.
Yeah.
And then I want to see you come back to the city and contribute. So that's why the process is that rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Or
I wanna-
rigorous, not rigid, but rigorous.
Yeah, and I like that you know you help students from Detroit to go to college, be successful. Then they come back and contribute to their
60%.
communities,
Yeah.
to their communities, just like Dr. Rogers here. So
Absolutely.
I just think that's amazing. So when does the application? When does that process start?
In about 3 weeks.
Really?
We'll be posting the
Wow.
scholarship to our website, CAYF.org. Those are the initials of Coleman A. Young Foundation.org in 3 weeks.
In November.
In November. And we used to post it January 1st.
Okay.
Students need more time.
Yeah.
So we give them more time. And you can go right on the website and apply. You can either download a PDF if you want to do a paper copy, but
Yeah.
I encourage you to apply online and put your best foot forward.
Absolutely. Would that be for ninth graders or applying? I can
Twelve.
catch that. 12th graders, right?
Seniors.
To make
High
sure
school
I'm
seniors.
seniors. Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
high school seniors.
All righty. That's so awesome.
Now, what do I owe y'all since I was late?
Now let me ask you, how many?
We're good.
Wait, but how many applicants did you guys approve for like 2020? Like how many did you scholars
question.
get? Yeah.
We awarded 3 Coleman Young scholarships
Okay.
last year, and that's the full $22,000 scholarship. But we also give a book scholarship that's $2,000,
Okay.
and we mentor those students as if they were $22,000 scholarship recipients.
Gotcha.
So we did 3 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So my cohort with the Coleman Young Foundation is interesting. It's an interesting cohort. It was 4 of us.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So Leon Barber just got a master's of social work from U of M, right?
Oh, right on.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary, he's going to be a guest on the
Talented
show.
guy, yeah.
Super talented man, producer, artist, won an Emmy last year.
Yes, he did.
Won an Emmy.
Yes, he did.
So he'll be on the show. And then there's James Farr, who is my cousin. He married my cousin when we were in
Wow.
Southern together, so he's family. And then it's me. So it's been, yeah, we are all still close. All still close to this day, 30 years later. Yeah.
Shout out to Thelma Bush, because Thelma Bush, was she there when you were there?
Carol Bowie.
Carol Bowie, okay.
Yeah.
Where the foundation has always had amazing mentors who are committed to working with scholars while they're in school, and that work continues to this day. I often get asked by colleagues, what kind of like what's your secret sauce question?
Yeah.
It's love.
Absolutely.
It's love. It's I have stocked refrigerators on heading into Thanksgiving weekend. I have taken 2 a.m. phone calls. We help talk kids in from the road when they try to do a college road trip.
Yeah.
At a time when they shouldn't have. And then we've been educated. I got to shout out Tia Prescott, who's a young scholar who's now in Texas. But Tia has become almost a daughter to me. Tia started buying stocks when she was a freshman or sophomore at Michigan State. She was smart enough to take out a bank education loan. She put it in the stock market, turned $21,000 to $61,000, bought a car and apartment.
You better go ahead and
Graduated with a finance degree in 3 years, paid that loan back, kept it moving, and then moved down to Dallas and opened up the first black woman-owned beauty supply company.
Wow.
Awesome.
In the DFW area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't know.
Bad students. They just do their thing.
Yeah.
Once you
It's
put it out
amazing
there.
when you plant those seeds and you can just tell them a little bit of information and they just take it and run with it and just go with it. And I just love that because that's absolutely a strategy.
So the involvement you were talking about over the course of 4 years, so I can remember back when we were in school and we were required to submit our grades every semester.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Still.
But back then, grades got mailed to your house. Okay, so there was no windows. There was no, it was 80, 89, 88.
Oh yeah.
So a couple times I was like, okay, well, I know they're coming, so I get the call, hey, where's your grades? We need your grades. Well, the mail hasn't run. I don't have them yet. Whatever. So then I submit them, and I would get the hard conversation.
Really?
Hey.
Your grades weren't that good?
Well, they got better.
Okay, over
Right,
time.
they got better. They got better over time. But the hard conversation, like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
come on, let's
Tighten this up.
let's tighten this up. And that was that added motivation that I needed, that conversation, because I didn't mind a hard conversation. I've never run away from a hard conversation, So for me, it just felt loved.
Yeah.
It really felt loved to be involved in that. So,
And it gets different when it's not coming from your family.
yeah.
when it's coming from a surrogate,
Yeah.
you know, Mayor Young called a couple people to his office.
Wow.
Back in the day, he called Patrice Lopez Stringer. I hope she don't mind me putting her business out there, but she came home with a C, and he said, "Send it to me."
Wow.
He
Yeah.
called her to his office at City Hall.
It was real.
He read her the riot act. It was a 5-minute meeting.
Wow.
It was real. It was
So,
real.
he set the tone.
Yeah.
He set the tone, and I have such respect for that man because, you know, he modeled the behavior that he wanted us to adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't just say, take this money and go do it, you know. So he was among the first mentors,
Yeah.
and he was running the city at the time.
Yeah.
He had work to do.
So from starting that program in '86 to going from, hey, Chris, what are you doing in school, to how much more school are you going to continue to do, right?
Yes.
Because '86, 5 degrees later, here I am,
Yes.
and it started with the Coleman Young Foundation.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
5 degrees later, so.
And I get to become friends
Yeah.
with alumni.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like you, Dr. Rogers, and Lance Woods, who co-founded We Run 313, which is
Yeah.
now
Right.
the biggest run group
Yeah.
in the state of Michigan.
I
They
want to
just,
join them. I need to go run.
oh, they just made history last
I
night.
saw that. They were on like CBS or something like that, or what,
Yes,
CNN or
and
something.
they became, I think they may have become the first black relay team to win the Free Press Marathon.
Oh,
Wow.
They won the relay.
Wow.
5 brothers and a sister.
That's awesome.
Smashed it.
Do you run?
I do run. I put in 7 miles this morning.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow.
On the treadmill?
No, on the street.
On the
You
street.
just go run?
I put my miles on the road. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
7 miles?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because I went to LA Fitness and I said I was going to do 3 miles a day. And when it's
That's
hard
awesome.
to do a 1 mile. I'll be like, thank you, Lord. I got through 1 mile. I probably can get to 2, but you have to work your way up to it because it's hard work.
You
That
know,
run is
I got to
gonna-
get into it. My boss in the cubicle next to me, I don't know her age. I've never asked her. I'm not going to. But she told me the other day, her and her friend, they walk 7 miles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
yeah.
said they walk 7 miles. 7 miles. I'm
So-
trying to envision, like,
So I'm going to pivot, y'all. 'Cause I'm a health nut.
Are you?
I'm
That's
a
so
health
awesome.
nut. I'm a vegetarian.
I think I
I'm
need you to
I'm
come and say a
devout.
few things at the brunch.
I would love to.
Because
But I would say for you,
Yeah.
join We Run 313.
Okay.
Because they are shame-free, completely supportive.
Okay.
They've changed many lives.
Okay.
And then I would say read How Not to Die
Okay.
by Michael Greger. How Not to Die.
how not to die.
It's about how to. It's a book that breaks down how to reverse the effects of the 15 greatest causes of death in America just by eating what God grows.
The right food. So are you plant-based?
I'm not plant-based,
Okay.
but I don't eat meat at all. And,
Really? Okay.
And these days I eat less and less dairy, so I'm kind of naturally moving as I educate myself.
Yeah.
It's hard to learn and then not apply once
Yeah.
you get on this path. So I'm moving toward plant-based living, and Max is picking up some things. He's a big fan of quinoa, and he likes eating that kind of stuff. So it's fun because
Yeah.
we get to cook stuff.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Always, we talk about wealth and what does that mean?
Yes,
And so we
yes.
talk about the 5 realms of wealth. And I like to teach clients that wealth is not always just financial because God
No.
forbid that you have money, but your health is bad.
Yes.
We also have time wealth where you can live the life you want to live and you don't have to be subject to, somebody else's schedule for you.
Say that.
That is a wealth to
Yes.
have time wealth. Then you have social wealth where you
Yes.
know people and they can fly you out.
Yeah.
You can eat for free. No,
That's right.
And,
That's right.
and then you
That's
have
right.
and then
right.
keep money in your pocket. And then you have spiritual wealth. So
Yes.
that's one thing that I want to talk about too, just at the brunch. Like, what is wealth? We don't want to just talk about just accumulation, but let's talk about the whole body of wealth and what that means. And that's what you're talking about, eating right. Because if you eat right, your energy level changes.
Yes.
And I know that you probably experienced it. Because I experienced. I don't know if you.
have.
We got to stop Dr. Rogers from making these greedy stops.
So listen.
Because he made greedy stops. And he's proud.
so let
He's
me-
like, I stopped at
no
McDonald's the
shade,
other day.
no shade.
Wait a minute. I got me a slider the other
Wait,
day.
let me tell you how this is going. I'm going to go public with this because I care, right?
I'm done.
So I'm having a cheap procedure in December. So all that's dead. I'm having a cheap procedure. I don't care. I'm having it. Mainly to address some other issues, but I'm gonna have a cheap procedure. So, because I'm 55, right? And I meet people who say sometimes you don't look 55, but I feel it.
Okay.
Some days I do feel it. And so I realized, I realized, and my wife made me realize, you know, you gotta take a lot better care of yourself and what you're doing. Like my mental is always good, my spirit is always good, but my body sometimes has been neglected for the sake of my mind.
Yeah.
So I gotta put more time and effort into improving my physical, because my mental has always been strong, always.
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah.
I turned 50 last year, and
it's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling. My recovery time is not what it used to be, and you know, I ran this morning, and Matt turned around and said, "Let's go play kickball," and I was, all right, you know,
right.
Ooh, he ran circles around me on on the diamond, one-on-one kickball.
Wow.
On a baseball diamond, but you know, he also made me loosen back up and break the lactic acid out, you know, up and but you know, health becomes wealth.
Absolutely.
At this age, and you're right, it is all connected. I did experience I'll say I realized more energy because it didn't dawn on me like, I can do it all. You know, it's I just realized my motor is stronger. You know, after a year without putting meat in my body, and I feel like I can eat everything I want. I don't have to count calories now.
Yeah.
Because everything I eat, my body is using and burning and repurposing it.
Yeah.
And I'm treating my body like I treat a good car.
Yeah. They say feed your body on a cellular level.
Yeah. And I'm finding, you know, my palate has shifted. So when I did try to eat meat, it was different.
It tasted different,
Yeah, I can't drink sweet tea anymore.
Wow.
Because I haven't had refined sugar in so long. So and I'm a better student. Just to wrap it back to the education conversation, I'm a better student. I read a lot more now, and I retain more of what I read.
That's so awesome.
So that's where I feel myself firing on all cylinders. You know, and I'm more patient. You know, emotionally, I'm more present for my family and my wife and son, and all of that matters.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, it sounds like to me that we're talking about a conditioning of preparing ourselves to be educated, but then to also take care of our whole body. And that starts in the 6th grade, all the way up until 50 years old, when you are looking back at your life and you're just, you know, we go through these different transitions, but we all have an individual accountability to ourselves to educate ourselves, to, you know, go after our destiny, to eat right, to have physical exercise, and then to come back and give back to our community.
You know, it's funny we talking about this because just this week I was thinking to myself, you know, being in school for such a long time, when I turned 50, when I stopped like dyeing my beard and just said, "This is who I'm." My daughter,
you was dyeing your beard?
Yeah. Oh,
because she said.
my daughter actually was the one. My daughter actually was the one to say, "Hey, listen, it's time. It's time."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My daughter looked across from me and she said, "It's time."
And I said, "Wisdom from the mouth of babes."
And I said, "You know what? I'm done." And I never dyed it ever again after my 50th birthday. But I say that to say I would be in the school and sometimes the kids say, "Dr. Rice, you out. You out. You out," right? But then after 2020, when people were just, so now, I am old. And I'm grateful. And I don't hear that anymore. See, when I left the school, I got promoted, so my last day at the school was last Friday, and I never heard that since school started. That was never a conversational joke anymore, because I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing, but 50 years have changed a lot. I don't know how old Mel is. I'll never know how old Mel is.
I told you the other day. You forgot?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I purposely forgot. So I would
never
never bring it up.
I was about to say,
But I was something like 50.
Well, how old I look?
Don't.
How old I look,
I'm
Khary?
not falling to that. Khary can fall into that.
You don't really want me to guess.
Yes, I do.
You don't want me.
Because I want to guess you was 50.
Okay, God bless you. I'm going to say 38.
Okay. Yeah, that's about in the range.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm 42. I'll be 43 or something.
See that?
Yeah.
See that?
See, but 40 is a good age. But 50 gives you this freedom, this mental, emotional type. It just feels so good.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a different.
You know, it's just like, you know, that 40 threshold had felt away. You know, it felt a certain way.
Yeah.
I remember when I turned 40. That's when I started to think seriously about what I really cared about and what I don't care about.
Yeah.
Now that I'm 50, I spend, you know, legacy occupies most of my thoughts.
Absolutely.
And you've been there, done that,
Yeah.
seen that, heard that.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Wisdom.
yeah, you're just like,
Yeah,
okay.
you know what you know,
Yeah.
but you know what you know.
Yeah, so I pour everything into this guy. I purposefully take him places with me just so he can see mom and dad in action,
Yeah.
you know, and I want certain things to be normal.
Get
you know.
exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
absolutely.
never experienced stage fright because I'm an artist too, you know.
Right.
I come out of hip hop, you know,
Oh, okay.
prior to Coleman and Young Foundation and out of the poetry community, and I would do speaking engagements and spoken word events, you know, when Max was 1 and 2. As soon as he,
Wow.
I would have him stand and hold my leg,
Oh, wow.
you know, and I would just tell you know, in the audience, I took him to board meetings
Wow.
in his carrier, you know, and
Yeah.
I just never wanted an audience to feel foreign to him.
Gotcha.
Because there's a power. First of all, our people come with flavor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
With
Yes.
salt of the world, you know,
Right.
the world, we're the standard for what's cool
Absolutely.
on this planet, everywhere. So if you have that, but you also have the ability to tell your own story
Yeah.
in front of any audience, and then apply things like your education, your
Absolutely.
business acumen, Melody,
Yeah.
and all those things to the storytelling process,
Yeah.
you are unstoppable.
Unstoppable. You are so right.
90% of the people in this world are deathly afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I teach
Or
it.
being in the
Yes.
forefront.
I teach it. They don't want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen people freeze at, you know, it's the same way you see people get on social media at the age of 50 and turn 15.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people who are seasoned stand in front of an audience to speak and freeze. You know, it's just something that they've never been prepared to do.
Yeah.
And I love every opportunity.
Every
Opportunity I can to get on stage and speak in front of somebody. I love it. I jump to it.
Yeah.
When they say anybody want to speak, I raise my hand all the time.
Yeah.
I'm never afraid of that.
Yeah, my wife teases me. She said, "There's not a microphone on this planet that you are not anxious to grab." And I say, you know what? I credit Reverend Wendell Anthony for making me stand in front of the congregation. I credit my mama for making me remember all those poems back in the day.
Yeah.
And I credit hip hop for putting me in front of audiences that wouldn't hesitate to boo me off stage.
Absolutely.
You know, if I couldn't stand to deliver. And all of that led to poetry, spoken word. All of those things gave me transferable skills
Absolutely.
that I now use in my current role.
Yeah. And now you're an example.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I praise
absolutely.
God for
You
that.
are definitely an example.
But my time is almost up. You know, I'm passing the baton as we speak.
Okay.
You know, so you know, I need this next generation of Maxes and Melodies to be well prepared.
Absolutely.
You know, the
Absolutely.
world needs to feel small to you, small. So when you're on that on whatever, I don't know what you do in your spare time on your phone, you know, but every now and then, you know, if you spend a certain amount of time on social media or IG, always remember that phone you have has the answer to every question that you have to ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do I take a product to market? How can I scale this how can I scale this cosmetic product that I've developed? You know,
How can I put princess lips in Macy's?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Like you can literally Google that.
Okay.
And there's an answer, you know, so it's an awesome world and an awesome time we live in.
Okay. It is. It's so. We talked about so many things.
I know.
I think
We
all
supposed
over
to
the
go, I
place.
know.
Hey, but it's good vibe. It's good.
Yeah, I guess you know as we kind of come to a conclusion here. One thing I wanted to mention, because you talked about how the Coleman A. Young started out of late Mayor Young's retirement wealth, I guess.
Well, it was his campaign treasury, which at that time you could retire on, but he planned to endow the foundation and Wayne State University with most of it.
Sounds like a life insurance type of thing, or like a rider or something like that. But nevertheless, from 1982,
in the ballpark.
yeah, because they have things with riders where you can give to charitable foundations and things
Yeah,
like
he designated
that.
it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it could be a part of like maybe a life insurance, and then
Yes.
the foundation was the beneficiary,
Yes.
and then so anyway, so it's from 1982 to today, 2021. What is next for the Coleman A. Young Foundation? What's your vision for the foundation, where it's going? And
That's an amazing question.
It is.
I'm going to go back to the the conversation we had about what college means to me.
Okay.
I use the word racket and I always hesitate to use that word because I don't want to seem like I don't appreciate American colleges and universities. But I do believe that our children and our students should be encouraged to see education as their employee. So for Coleman and Young Foundation, I think our next phase of work goes beyond scholarship. I think scholarship remains a part of what we do, but wealth building for Detroit families is the next conversation that I think we should have, and I think we should be encouraging, since we start touching families and children's lives at the age of 11 and in the 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
That's when we need to start talking about those 529 plans.
Absolutely.
And not just talking about them
But
scientifically.
implementing them.
Yeah. And
Writing
telling
them.
the
Having
story.
somebody like me there that can write it.
Come on. I mean, talk about it as an investment, because that's what it is. It is an investment, and the message needs to be, Melody, this plan can put you in a position where you don't need a scholarship. You can become in the Coleman and Young Foundation as a helper. You know, not asking or not with a handout. And mom and dad, you can be transitioning your thinking to becoming investors, so that once Melody is straight for college, you can start taking the rest of that, the balance of that energy, and putting it toward your life.
Absolutely.
To make sure that you're not still forced to work at age 65.
Absolutely.
You know, my goal to this day is to be in a position to stop working, if I so choose.
Absolutely.
By the age of 58.
Absolutely.
I'm 50 years old. I am on track.
Amen.
I'm on pace. I'm not just talking trash about it. It's like the dollars and the documentation supports that initiative.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to stop working.
Yeah.
I just want to be at that point where I can say, all right, Coleman and Young Foundation, I'm going to donate my salary back to you.
Yeah.
I need that tax write-off more than I need the dollar
Absolutely.
at this point. So, you know, we should all be thinking that way.
Absolutely, and I love that you kind of concluded to that, to say, hey, the shift is now. Let's talk about wealth accumulation, wealth management. What can we do now to make sure that money is in place and that our dollars are working toward the purpose that we want and the goal that we want. And so just with the foundation and then even just in our everyday endeavors of people that we meet, like just me working in the field that I work in, that's something that we can benefit all from each other doing that. And so I think that's amazing. I hope that everybody listening values it the same.
I do too. So if people want to invest in the Coleman Young Foundation, how do they do that? They want to donate.
You know what? The easy thing to do, if you're tech savvy, go to our website. The first thing you'll see is a button that says donate or become a monthly giver. We love monthly givers. You know, just committing $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. Your bubblegum money, you know, the change for lunch, you know, that sustains us. If I do the math and say, you know, if 500 people commit $5 a month to this foundation, that pays the bills, that keeps the lights on, that funds a couple of scholarships right there.
Absolutely.
And I would say start there. But our address, you know, we're in the new center at 7650 2nd Avenue, Suite 206. 48202 in Detroit, 7650 2nd Avenue, Suite 206, 48202, Detroit, Michigan. Check still cash. Paper money still works.
Y'all got Cash App?
We have Cash App.
Oh, you got Cash App?
Yes, Cash App, CAYF, well, CAY Foundation.
CAY Foundation.
Capital C, capital
And you
A,
can
capital
send
Y,
your
Foundation.
donations via Cash App, because you know we love this Cash App these days.
Absolutely. I love Cash App.
Yeah, me too.
And
CAYF Foundation.
if you're an Amazon shopper, instead of going to Amazon.com, go to smile.amazon.com and select us as your designated charity.
Okay.
And that way, a couple pennies from every one of your purchases will come to the foundation.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Khary.
Yeah, well, thank you all. You know, I really appreciate this.
And we appreciate you coming on.
I still feel like I owe you a do-over, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I was thinking. I wrote down the times that you gave me, and I pushed them. You didn't give me the times I walked in here at, obviously, but I pushed them back 15 minutes.
But look, it's good because we were trying to get the technical stuff together and all that, so it worked out. Actually, when you walked in, we were just coming on, right?
Absolutely.
Really good. Yeah,
all right, that's good. That's good. I like that.
But Terry had us working it. That's my high school We've been knowing each other
Right
30
on.
years, Southern University and McKenzie High School. So,
How you doing? How you doing?
Yep.
Mackenzie.
Happy homecoming, everybody out there. And she right now, she blowing out Prairie View.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
for right now?
Right now.
Nice, nice. Mackenzie still has that big old reunion every summer?
Yeah, listen, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
The McKenzie High School reunion is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I remember I can remember one time on the corner where I'm in Chicago, we probably had about 7,000 people out there.
Yep.
Easy.
Yep.
Easy.
I don't know if anybody is topping Mackenzie.
Listen, no disagreements, no nothing, just love,
Just love.
love, love. It's a beautiful thing. It's
Wow.
it's the event of the summer, truthfully, in
It is.
Detroit. It
I
is.
could throw in one thing. I don't know if you was there that year, although it was unfortunate when there was a shooting. And
I remember that.
And one of the best things about it that I saw, because I was there and I was there with my kids, was that when the shooting happened, of course, everybody went down and whatnot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But a large contingent of the crowd went towards it, and those were all McKenzie alumni who were sheriffs, police officers,
Right.
state police,
Oh, wow.
and they trapped down those people within like 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
You know, so shouts out to all those guys. Shouts out John Talbot. I know he was there. Nancy Johnson was there.
Yeah.
So it was a great thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
We do it at McKenzie. We do it well.
I need to get there again.
Yeah, you need to check it out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could be an honorary McKenzie alumni.
Okay,
I'm gonna hook you
cool.
up.
That's cool.
I'm gonna hook you
I didn't
up.
go to Detroit, high school in Detroit, so
Yeah, Mel's from Oakland.
originally.
Oh,
Originally
really?
from Oakland. Yeah. And then
I got
to
family from Oakland.
Do
you?
We spend Christmas every Christmas together.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you might be my cousin.
You know,
we all family.
no city reminds me of Detroit
Like
as
Oakland.
much as Oakland.
Really?
Period. That's why I tell them, they're like, why you here? I'm like, you just don't know what Oakland is like.
Same type of history. They share our history of white flight, gentrification,
Yep.
industry.
Wow.
You know, all of it. We have so much in common with Oakland.
And I've never been
Y'all
to
even
California.
get cold for California.
We really do. Yeah.
I mean,
Never been to
Yeah.
California.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
The
Oakland,
musicianship in the Bay is legendary.
legendary.
I
Wow.
mean, it
Legendary.
goes on for days and
Larry
days.
Graham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Santana, Tower
Santana.
Power.
Yep. Up to Raphael Sadiq.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too short.
Yeah, too short.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm about to check out California.
Oakland is, I call it the West Coast of Detroit.
Wow.
I love that.
I love it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, West Coast Detroit.
Yeah, shout out to my Oakland family.
Yeah.
Shout out cordial.
Amen.
Absolutely. So I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up with Khary Turner, the Executive Director of the Coleman and Young Foundation. We're going
Thank
to
y'all
get to
so
a commercial
much.
break.
Okay, thank you.
And then we'll be back.
This was so cool.
Thanks. Wonderful.
We clear.
Yay. I would love that. We covered a lot of ground there.
A lot of good information.
So, Khary, we got to talk about this whole wealth building thing.